What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. We are live. We are live. And in today's video, we are getting things set up because we're about to go over cooking, some cooking prep stuff. Because I wanted to make this video right here to discuss like how to go about prepping. Hope y'all doing good though. I know it's late. Um, this video is gonna go up on the channel as well. But yeah, this is gonna be a quick little video. We're just gonna talk about meal prep, cooking prep, and get into stuff like that for whenever you want to be able to just go about your day, because it's really easy. It's really easy, when you're going about your day, to not have the foods you need in order to like keep yourself going, right? You know what I'm saying? You never have really those type of grab and go foods that you can just cook or just have on hand where you can just grab and eat, that's actually healthy. So we're just gonna spend time. I'm actually just gonna go through the process, taking y'all, through the process with me of me just making these meal prep dishes, that you could just make, and it could just, you could just easily just warm up, heat up, do whatever, and just eat and continue to work. So let me flip this. Okay. So basically, hold on. Okay. So basically, right. So what I like to do right here is I like to start by getting all my stuff for tomatoes. So I got my tomatoes, I got my garlic, I got my red onions, right? And I'm also gonna have my peppers. Um, I'm gonna mix all of these right here, and I'm gonna put it in a jar, pretty much. So, um, I usually like to cook it, but the thing is, I don't know necessarily how to cook these. I don't know how to cook it, and actually have the sauce sustainable, right? And this is basically what I do in terms of meal prepping, right? Because I like to make quesadillas, burritos, fajitas, um, and a lot of other, dishes where I can just grab and, eat that. You can make this sauce right here, and there's a cheese sauce that you can just make. And instead of me just chopping up all the ingredients every day, and making all that food, I'm just going to chop it all up now. I'm going to put it, the sauce in a jar. That way I can just pull out the crumbles, which you'll see in a second, and I'll just be able to put the vegan crumbles and cook those in the pot or in the pan, and then just uh, add a little bit of this sauce in there each day. So, um, yeah, let's get to it. Give me 1 second. I have to set this up real fast. I'm gonna be right back. I should have had everything I needed for starting. Hold on. This real. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. Here we go. So we got camera stick. We're gonna start real fast, and we're just gonna get right into it, right? Okay. So you'll get a better idea of what I'm doing as soon as I can set this up. Okay. 2 seconds. Okay. So now we're set up here. All right. So first things first that we're gonna do, right, is we're gonna make our sauce right here. Okay. Um, we're gonna go ahead and get a jar real fast. I don't know what happened to this jar. Everything seems to just attempting to just be out of place. But here we go. So now, so this is the jar. We're going to put all of, the sauce in there. Pretty much just in that jar, and that's where we're gonna have start our meal prep, and then over here as well, we have this going on, which I had already was about to start, right? So over here, we have this mix, right? It's basically just a mix that I made with some organic sugar as well as some organic flour. And I just basically put the sugar right here in this container. So instead of me making like organic biscuits in the morning that I usually make, I just put the mix in there. So if you've seen like some of the other videos I made previously about how I bake, the oatmeal biscuits or the organic biscuits in the morning, basically, instead of me just waking up and taking all that time to get the flour and get the whatever and, you know, um, put that all in just put it all in, a bowl and mix it. Instead, I just mixed the two stuff together, the sugar, the flour, and I just put it in here, right here, because a lot of times, man, like, you know how they always try to say like, it's very easy. The difference between eating healthy and eating like unhealthy is how they package it. Like the way they package unhealthy foods makes it so easy to eat that it's the fact that like if healthy food was as easy access as unhealthy food, everybody would be healthy. Like, right? So it's like only reason why people are so unhealthy or eat unhealthy and have, bad unhealthy habits that they keep going back to most of the time is because of how they package the food and how easily accessible like unhealthy foods is. Like that's how they get us. So the whole idea of eating healthy is to find ways to make eating healthy easier access, right? So that's why I have the flour or this mix that I made. It's like, that you can. It's like the first. I mean, like instead of eating like cookies and unhealthy shit. I mean, unhealthy things that you can just grab from the store, right? You can just make this mix right here, and it's like a healthy pancake mix, right? And you could put it. You can make biscuits out of them. You can make. I mean, you could probably even make like waffles and pancakes. I mean, if I ate waffles and pancakes, I'd probably make those out of that, you know, and it's like something healthier that you can eat, right? Um, so like this can replace pancake mix or something, and then like over here, what I'm doing right here with this old fashioned, oats and these I guess chocolate chips. I was gonna make something else that's that could be easily accessible, that I could store in one of these containers over here, and it'd be easily accessible like that, and like fruit, because like a lot of times we don't even be hungry, we just be needing something to eat, to keep going, like, you know what I'm saying? So You have your grab and go foods. You have your midday, sort of meals, and then you have your meals when you're winding down, like when you need a meal like for dinner type. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm prepping right now. So that's my breakdown to, like, I guess, eating healthier, or sustaining healthier eating, right? So what we're going to do right now is finish chopping this up, then we're going to put it in the jar, and this is going to make it easier for us to make some of these midday dishes like quesadillas and um quesadillas and fajitas and stuff like that. So we're going to finish chopping these now and keep going. So and it's like a balance thing, because it's like, it's who would want to spend that much time, cooking and worrying about what they're eating, right? So it's like, why not, change the game plan and put the have the eating systems in place. That way you don't have to worry about what you're eating all the time. Like, that's not something you should have to think about. That's something you should be just have in place. So um that's what we're doing right now. And the whole idea is to combat against, like, unhealthy foods, like, like, um the unhealthy foods they got, like, all that stuff, man, like McDonald's and Burger King and all the fast food stuff, and then all the junk you get from the store, like um, muffins and stuff. Like, just the other day, uh, we had brought in all this unhealthy stuff in the house, and it was so funny because I'm looking at this stuff. I'm like, man, all this stuff is like just easily accessible. Like, it's just a bunch of easily accessible, you know, like items. Like, my mom and my sister brought in, like, muffins and all other types of stuff, and I'm thinking to myself, like, nobody would eat this stuff ever. Nobody would ever eat that stuff if it wasn't so easily accessible. So that's the whole purpose of this whole structure right here that I'm doing, is to make healthy eating more easily accessible. That way, you can eat healthy and do what you need to do. Because, when you can, put healthy stuff in your body, I mean, you can be a lot more productive, and you can cut off all that rest time that you need, like, in between meals and stuff. Especially if you're eating, like, specifically when you're eating, like, big meals, right? Yeah, specifically when you're eating big meals, like, you don't have to rest as much if you got littler meals. Like, a lot of times, like, specifically what I mean by it is, like, a lot of times when we get done with a workout, or say you have a schedule like mine and you work out in the morning and then you get into what you do after you eat something, right? A lot of times we don't take into consideration what we're eating too much before we get into our next activity or whatever it is we do next. And it's like, if we eat too big of a meal, right, then our body needs a rest time and it has to recover. And the thing about that is, because regardless, no matter who you are, you still have a human body that's going to function like a human body. If you eat too much, then your body's going to need rest time, recovery time, and your body's going to go into rest mode. Regardless of whatever you do, it don't matter. Like, your body's going to go into rest mode, and you're not going to be able to function and perform properly in the next activities that you do, because your body's in rest mode. You're like trying to do whatever you're trying to do while resting, and it's like, it doesn't work like that. So the important thing to do, or what I'm doing right here, is getting this second getting this around midday meal thing going, where you're eating a mid-sized, like a mid-sized meal, right? You know what I'm saying? And you're not eating like a big, gigantic meal midday, like, right? Because you still want to be able to perform. You got grab and go foods, which would be like um, your fruits, and like whatever else. I guess even substitutes for like instead of eating like cookies and stuff. Like how like back in the day, you got in your parents' house, they have the jar of cookies and stuff, right? You'd have your jar of cookies and maybe like cheese balls or, but specifically like cookies and animal crackers and stuff. Instead of eating that, you know, making, having a substitute, set of cookies for that instead of eat, just making a transition, right? Because, making that transition right there. So it's like around midday, that's what you probably gonna want. You probably gonna have some sort of, you have a midday meal, but at the same time, if the midday meal isn't enough, you're gonna have a little bit of other type of, grab and go foods that you can just take with you to work, you know? So that is the idea. And we're gonna finish cutting up this little bit of red onion right here. This is probably the worst uh, technique I've ever had in chopping up onions, but that is okay, right? Another thing that you can do right here, specifically with like oatmeals and stuff, is you want to be able to package some stuff. Like what I'm gonna try to do, right? Okay, I'm gonna just let y'all know what I'm gonna try to do. I don't know if it's gonna work or not, right? So I'm gonna take that oatmeal mix because the idea came into my mind. So is I'm going to take the oatmeal, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the mix for it, right? I'm just gonna put milk in it, all oat milk, right? I'm gonna put oat milk in it, and I'm going to mix the two together with some coconut palm sugar, I guess, or whatever sugar I decide to use, and I'm going to form it, and I'm gonna stick it in the oven. And by the time the oats are done and they come out of the oven, they should be like, formed or whatever, like hardened enough. And I'm gonna take those oats and I'm gonna put it back in the bowl. And then I'm going to add some other ingredients in there to make those oats stick together. And then I'm going to stick it back in the oven in whichever form that I decide to stick it in. And then that should make like a hard substance that should be able to sustain in a jar, like one of these bins, for multiple days. So if that turns out how I think it's going to turn out, that's an experiment right there. And if that turns out how I think it's going to turn out, then I'd have my grab and go foods of cookies or bars or whatever it might be in this jar, that I can eat and grab and go with the quesadillas and stuff that I make midday. And then I also have this mix right here that I can have in the morning when I first get up. I can just cook these biscuits right here, throw these in the oven along with the smoothies or beverage drinks, whatever I have in the morning. Then I don't have to worry about food. Right? Don't have to worry about food. And the other thing would just be dinner. And that's one thing that's a little bit out of my jurisdiction, I'm not gonna lie, is dinner. I mean, because dinner at the end of the day is probably gonna be something very simple and basic like spaghetti. Because when it comes to dinner, that means my body I haven't got enough nutrients in my body. And now I need something that, an actual meal, you know what I'm saying? Now I actually need a meal to replenish my body, right? And then rest. Because after dinner, you're gonna go into that big old rest mode, right? So dinner and rest, okay? So that's the that's what that's gonna be, right? And I really don't pay too much mind to that because, like I said, it's gonna be something like spaghetti or something, or just a dinner meal, you know? Maybe type of some type of casserole or lasagna, maybe. You know, whatever's gonna replenish me, right? So the important thing that I focus on is the midday meals and the grab and go meals, right? Your midday meals and your grab and go meals, right? Because that's what's gonna allow you. That's gonna allow us to keep, to keep going. In terms of like, uh, yeah, that's what's gonna allow us to keep going. While being productive and doing something, right? So okay, I'm gonna cut up one more thing of garlic, and then we're going to move on to the next thing. All right. So what I like to do with this, as I said before, since I'm not cooking it, um, oh well, I am cooking it actually because I wanted to, make me some quesadillas, right now, but um, so yeah, I'm actually gonna cook this. A little bit of this. But I'm gonna actually put this in the jar just to show you what that looks like before I even use any of it. So I'm cutting this garlic horrible. I do a much better job. It's okay, we'll get there. This is probably the worst garlic I put in. But yeah, I hope y'all are doing good though. Hope y'all are doing good, man. Just this right here that I'm making is going to. I'm just offering and just offering some a little bit and just just being here, just giving away a little bit of knowledge, or just I guess my way of trying to make it to where you don't have to really focus on what you're eating all the time and it take you away from what you're doing, right? Okay, so more garlic and two more ingredients that the other two ingredients I'm gonna make, okay, is we're gonna have a little bit of pepper to it. smells so good. I don't think we need 2 of these. We probably just need 1. But yeah. We're gonna go ahead and throw this in here as well, and then we're gonna take all this stuff right here and put it in the jar. All right. So cut the space. Okay. I don't want to put too much pepper, but at the same time, I want to make sure that I have enough pepper. All right. All right. That's good. It's good because of the seeds. The seeds will be good. But yeah, man, food is not something that you should have to focus on throughout the day. Like in terms of, because you have so many other things that we want to do. And it's like, food is just not something, not one thing that you should have to focus on and put all that, energy into throughout the course of the week. It should be something, a system that's already in place to where you can just, grab it, go, and do what you need to do. That way you can keep, eat what you need to eat, and that way you can keep, focusing on other things, right? You shouldn't have to spend, time worrying about what you have, what you should be eating, what you not should, what you shouldn't be doing throughout the day. And a lot of times, I think it goes the same way for a lot of health things. Like a lot of health things, what you should be doing and what you shouldn't be doing is nothing that you should be thinking about throughout the course of the week or in your day-to-day life. You should never have to think about what you're gonna do healthy and what you're that should be something that's already in place. Like all that stuff should already be in place. You should be able to just, go around and, do what you need to do and live how you live freely. Like you shouldn't have to think about this stuff. Right? Yeah, like throughout the course of the week, like no. You should be able to just take this right, you should be able to eat whatever you eat. Alright, I'm gonna add this one more pepper in here, and then that's gonna be our sauce. Alright, and it should last us a good 3 or 4 days. I mean, depending on how much I use it. Hopefully it'll last us till the end of next week. I'll probably have to end up making some more though tomorrow, simply because I'm going to be using some tonight for an event tomorrow. Okay. Y'all kind of getting free game on a whole entire sauce right now as well. A whole entire sauce right now. Y'all are getting game on. So what I like to do right here as well, with this sauce, since it has a heavy spice to it, I'm not gonna get it. I'm not gonna give away that. I'm not gonna give away that. Man. I'm gonna hold fast to that. Someone's telling me that shit. Okay. All right. But anyway, now that I have all my ingredients right here, hold on. So now that I have all my ingredients that I need, right, I'm gonna go ahead and put it in this jar right here, and I'm gonna store it, right? See, the whole point of me making this live right here is to try to, you know what I'm saying? It's all about being, creative, in terms of, you know, how we go about attacking problems, right? So when you want to eat healthy, we know it's difficult to eat healthy, because one mainly is because how they package the food, right? Unhealthy food is so easy access. You go in the store and it's $1 and it's just right there, and you could just buy it and eat it. Unhealthy food, when you set it down, you set it on top of the counter, you put it in a cookie jar, you put it, wherever, and it just lasts, for an eternity, and it's always just right there, and you could just grab it and eat it, right? But when healthy foods, you have to actually go in and actually cook, the food, the healthy food. Like, you actually have to go in the store. You got to know what you want to get, and then you got to, cook the food, right? And you got to, do all these different things, and this is like, sometimes we be so invested in our day-to-day lives and what we're doing that we don't want to actually take the time to sit down. Ain't nobody got time to be doing all that, right? So, this is just some sort. This is like you know, some sort of strategy, to just being able to eat healthy and not have to put that other, junk in your body, right? When you just need something to eat. So, like I said, I break it down in 3 points, right? You got your grab and go foods, you got your midday meals, and then you got your heavy or replenishing dinner meals, right? So, um, right, so right now what we're doing, right, is we want to be able to make sure that our midday meals and our grab and go meals are sustainable, right? That's the most important thing that I like to focus on and attack, right? Midday meals and grab and go meals. So what we do to attack midday meals is make the process of cooking them easy, right? So that's the whole point of this sauce that I'm gonna put in this jar, right? I put the sauce in the jar and I store it and it'll last me a week. And whenever I want to make quesadillas, whenever I want to make fajitas or burritos or whatever I make. Or there's a lot of things you can make, hot pockets, and there's so many different midday meals that you can make, that you can store, that you can just, pick up, it's just that simple, right? So that's the whole point of this sauce, to make cooking really fast, or a lot quicker and a lot easier, right? Because all I got to do if I want to make anything pretty much is grab the vegan crumbles, which I'm gonna show you in a second. All I gotta do is grab the vegan crumbles and cook them on the stove, and pretty much the whole meal is made right there. Get you the shell, the egg roll wraps or the vegan wraps, which we'll show you in a second, and then the meal is already made pretty much. So pretty much that's the whole point of this right here. So we're gonna store this in a jar right now, and then we're gonna get into actually the we'll get into the oatmeal cookies joints that I'm trying to make, the experiment. All right. So that's my grab and go experiment right there, right? So we're gonna go ahead and rinse this up in as well. Hold on. All right, so as well, um, I usually add this in there too, um, as the sweetener, right? Because it's really spicy. You don't want to make a sauce that's just really spicy without it having like some sort of contrast to it. So here we go. We're gonna go ahead and dump this in here. And the other important thing is, right, we want to be able to cook. We want to be able to cook for ourselves, right? We want to be. We don't have. We don't want to have to. We want to be self sufficient of ourselves in terms of, who's, what we're, who's feeding us, right? What we're, we want to be independent in terms of, what we're putting in our body, right? We don't want somebody else to dictate what we put in our body. We want to be able to put, you know, put what's in our body, put things in our body of our choice. Um, so that's the whole point of creating ways in order, systems in order to sustain our eating. Okay. So that way, we don't have to rely on them to eat. We got our own systems in place. So that's the whole purpose of this right here, right? As I said before, you got your midday meals, right? That you have. You got your grab and go meals, and then you have your big, gigantic, replenishing dinner meals, right? And you just want to be able to make each individual one as easy as possible in terms of how you go about preparing it. If you do that, man, you'll have some sustainable eating, and you ain't got to worry about none of this other stuff that they be trying to get you to eat and just be having out there. But yeah, I'm gonna mix this all in this tomato jar, and then I'm gonna add the nectar to it, and then sweeten it out, basically. So it's a sweet but spicy type sauce, which is really good. All right. I might have put too much in there with one time, but I'm gonna take this right here, all this right here, and basically I'm going to mush it down. Hold on, I'm gonna set this right here. Mush all this down, mix it together, and baby, you got yourself a sauce in a jar. You know what I'm saying? So, ooh. Oh, give me 2 seconds. Let me do this. Let me do it like this. Let me do it like this. Let me do it like this. Dump this out of here. You got all the spicy stuff at the bottom. We don't want that. You don't want that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, this is it right here. Obviously, like if you put certain things in on the stove, you want to be able to saute it for a certain amount of time, right? And if you're really getting like professional with the cooking, yeah, you want to be able to saute certain ingredients for a certain amount of time before adding in other ingredients, right? To let it to really let it marinate. But right here, we're going for sustainability, right? That's why we don't saute it before we're putting it in the jar, because we're going for sustainability. Like this will last me a whole week, right? Just off the just off ingredients alone, this will last me an entire week. Um, right? Like if I didn't touch it, this will last me. This will last me a little bit. This will last me, a little bit of time. So, that's what we're going for. But if you wanted to make your sauce, I mean, you could saute, the tomatoes and the spices, um, to have it marinate a little bit better. But this video, we're just rolling like this. But 2 seconds. Hold on. 2 seconds. That'd be down here. Left. 2 seconds. Hold on. Let me get this lid real fast. This jar. Figure out where this joint went at. Need one lid. It's gotta be one. That's crazy. The craziest part is this joint should never even left the fridge in the first place. Now all of a sudden there's only one. Alright. Alright, so we got this jar. Alright, so now, like I was saying before, right? So, with this jar, right, you can store it in the fridge and just have it for like 5 days or how many days, and you could just make it all your midday meals that you come back. If you got a schedule like mine, say you work out in the morning and then do whatever, like you can come back, make whatever you can make, whatever you make real fast, and then go about your day. So I'm gonna show y'all what I mean by how quickly you can make a meal. Like say I just got back from working out, right? And I'm just back and I gotta eat something I want to eat something before I get into the next thing I do, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this right here, right? I'm gonna take these crumbles and just open them up. I got my sauce right. I got my sauce right there, and pretty much I'm just gonna take this, open it. So yeah. All right. So I got the crumbles in there. So this is your sort of midday meal. Like I said before, so you got the tomato sauce right here. You throw the crumbles in this right here, and then all I gotta do now really is just literally get the egg roll wraps and wrap the beef crumbles in the sauce, and you know that right there has it fajitas. But I like to do a little extra to mine specifically, um, just because. All right, so I'm gonna make a cheese sauce with this, and that's gonna be my little grab and go meal that you about to see in a second. All right. So all I'm doing right now is just letting um these crumbles cook. Right? You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna just let these cook in here. And while these are cooking, I'm going to go ahead and make my cheese sauce. All right. So now I really don't feel like giving away the recipe for this, but I mean it's straight. So for the cheese sauce, all I'm gonna do is all right. I'm not gonna make the full cheese sauce. This time I'm gonna make a cheese sauce, right? So particularly when you're making cheese sauce, or all I'm gonna do, right, is take me some vegan butter, plant-based butter, and some oat milk, and I'm gonna just add some vegan cheese to it, and that's gonna be my cheese sauce. Um, I'm gonna actually go ahead and let this finish cooking first before I do that. And right now, see, I've already made the tomato sauce, right? I've already made the preparation, so I'm just basically just going through the routine. I guess what it would look like if I was coming back from a workout or something, and I just needed a quick little meal to keep going, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cook that. Uh huh. Yeah. All right, so that's just about done. And next thing would be to make the cheese sauce and the other sauce. This is what I'm actually gonna do, right? So I'm gonna make the cheese sauce right here, right now. And then I'm actually gonna just move the other stuff over. All right, so for the cheese sauce, I got my little bit of butter, boom, just like that. And as we said before, we're just taking the I'm gonna take the butter and now for cheese sauces, I like to use oat milk instead of almond milk because oat milk is a lot more creamy. Um, and particularly when you make cheese sauces, you want them to be a little bit more creamy. So all we're doing right here is simply just making the cheese sauce. All right, you're not doing all that extra stuff that we could do if we was really trying to like show off. But we're just gonna keep it simple. All right. So add a little bit of the vegan cheese. Right here, you can get it at the store. You can get it at Walmart, wherever. This stuff is not cheap though. I ain't even gonna lie. I ain't even gonna hold y'all. That stuff right there is expensive. This stuff like $4, man. That's why I make cheese sauces out of them because it's so expensive. If you add, the milk to it, you don't have to use as much of the actual cheese. Like if you're really trying to like conserve, you don't have to use much of this cheese. If you're making a cheese sauce, you know what I'm saying, instead of just using plain cheese. So it's like $4 or $5, but there's things you can do to like make it last a little bit longer. Um, but yeah, once we get the cheese sauce taken care of, we'll go ahead and move on to adding the tomato sauce in it. All right. So this is our cheese sauce. We kept it simple. This is just the basic, you know, basic method of making a cheese sauce, right? Butter, milk, cheese. I mean, it don't get too much simpler than that, right? So that's your basic cheese sauce. We're gonna go ahead while that's happening. We're gonna go ahead and insert this sauce into the crumbles. Okay. I know I haven't been checking I haven't been checking anything, and I got to get used to the mechanics of these lives. So bear with me, right? When I'm cooking, I'm not watching anything, right? So not watching uh comments or anything like that. That's just for later reference. I got to get the mechanics for future lives. But so the cheese sauce is done, right? So and how fast was that, right? So I'm gonna add a little bit of this tomato sauce in here, right? So all I'm doing is adding as much as I know I need, right? That's even too much right there, but and usually what I didn't add yet is I was trying to clear the top because usually I add this in there as well, right? Because it's spicy. So what you want to do with a spicy sauce, right? You don't want to make it too spicy, right? If you have it really spicy, you want to balance it out with some sort of sweetener. So like sugar, or but I'm not going to use sugar, right? So this is my substitute for that. So you want to balance it out with something sweet, and go ahead and make your sauce. Okay. Let me get this out the way. Make sure this doesn't burn. Stick. Okay. So I'm mixing them separately right now just to show you. Okay. So pretty much this would be your sauce. Okay. Um, this would be your sauce right here. Okay. So I got them separated. So I'm about to taste test it just because I know it's gonna go crazy. Gotta have a little bit of it. Oh yeah, oh man. Woo! I'm trying to tell y'all. My. I'm trying to tell y'all. But anyway, so now what I'm gonna do, since it's going in these crumbles already, I'm gonna mix the crumbles in with the sauce. Turn this way down. Right? I'm gonna mix this all in here like this. Okay. And now you got your tomato sauce, or you got your sauce mixed in with your beef crumbles, just like that. And the other ingredient that was missing actually in the sauce, never do this. You want to have salt, right? You want to have salt, okay? Never do what I just did. That's the final ingredient, right, to your sauce. Sea salt, right? Sea salt. Not having salt is crazy, okay? You always want to have salt to your sauce. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of salt in there. Not too much, but also not too little, right? Enough. So I'm gonna mix this, and that's gonna be my sauce. And never forget that ingredient. Salt. Salt. That is the one ingredient you do not want to miss. All right. And then, of course, this is going to go in there as well. And also here. Whew. A little bit of technical difficulties right here with the sauce. But yeah, that's gonna be your sauce, right? You can make your sauce however you want to make it, but you know, that's how I make mine. All right. And a lot of times, instead of struggling all day trying to you know, cook, right? You know, when you get into cooking, it's a matter of just figuring out which foods, like what ingredients can you just prep, you know, that you can just have on hand and make the cooking process a billion times easier. Okay. In this live, we still got a few things that we're going to be doing in the kitchen. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna focus up and just I'm gonna focus up a little bit and just keep doing what I know that I need to be doing. So bear with me. I'm gonna taste test this meal right here. So we got the tomato sauce in there with the crumbles, the agave nectar to sweeten it out. To give it a taste test. Now that joint's cooking. Oh my goodness. Trying to tell y'all. Yeah, man. Trying to tell y'all, man. That shit is crazy. That shit is crazy. So what we're gonna do now is make the egg roll wraps, which is the last and final part. So these right here are like $2 in a store, and there's like 100 of these in here. So it's just when people say like eating vegan is so expensive, like I'm trying to tell you, like, you just gotta know how to go about doing it, right? These joints right here is like $2. There's like 100 wraps in here, bro. Like you can make fajitas, egg rolls, quesadillas, all types of stuff with this. You know, just with this, right? Chips, nachos. You know, I forgot about those. Like the nachos, man. Like you make your cheese sauce and you make your tomato sauce just like that, and you know, rip these up and make chips out of these, right? And then put the chips on one side, and then you got your tomato sauce on the other, and you got your cheese sauce on the other. You got chips and dip just like that, right? But yeah, let me go ahead and move this cheese sauce over and go ahead and start making these wraps. Like I said, with the cheese sauce, you could do a lot better. But me, today or tonight, you're just gonna keep it simple. You know what I'm saying? You're just gonna keep it simple. You're just gonna keep it simple. It's the basics. So now I'm just moving this stuff out the way pretty much. You know, you could use another skillet, you know, and dump this in. But we're just making room for the egg roll wraps. As a matter of fact, let me stop being lazy. Let me just put this in a different pan. Let me see. I'm actually gonna move this over here. That way y'all can see the process a little bit better. Okay, so I'm gonna get real technical on y'all in a quick second. Right, I'm gonna get real technical. Okay. All right, so we went ahead and sprayed the skillet. Um, we're just going to go grab something real quick, and then we'll be right back. Uh-huh. What's going on here? All right, perfect. Just because I want to be a neat freak, I'm actually gonna throw these um these gloves on, cause just because I don't feel like touching all this with my bare hands like that. So what we're gonna do now to finish this off is go ahead and make these egg roll wraps. So key thing to do here, we're hold on. Cut these joints with. All right, so you got your egg roll wraps, okay? Um, like I said, there's plenty of things that you can do with egg roll wraps, or with these egg roll wraps, right? You can obviously make egg rolls out of them, but you can make fajitas out of them, which I'm probably gonna do. You can make quesadillas out of them. I mean, you can make some sort of burrito thing out of them, and a few other things, right? And I like dishes like these because they're quick and easy, you know? And these are like midday meals, okay? So like there was another thing that I was planning on making as well, you know, brainstorming about, and it was Hot Pockets. And I feel like that's something that you could make, you know, with the right ingredients, say like potatoes, and you know, you could make, you know, with the right recipe, you could make some sort of Hot Pockets. All right, so now the rest is pretty simple. All I do is just take the cheese sauce, and I'm dumping the cheese sauce literally onto the onto the onto the egg roll wrap, and then I'm grabbing this right here, and I'm dumping it onto the egg roll wrap. All right, here, then I'm here. Okay, just like that. I'm making sure that the edges of the egg roll wrap, of course, are down straight, so that way you can use them as um, so that way you can close the fajita. So you go just like that, and once it's cooked, you just flip it, Boom, just like that. Well, I want to maintain the cheese in here because I want it to be able to continue to keep the wrap closed. So now I just let it sit, cook for a little bit, and then that's one. Okay. And then flip it. Hold on. Okay. And then flip the other side. And I'm gonna put it right inside the styrofoam tray. Okay. So it's just about ready. And these are your quick little meals that you could just make, right? You want to make sure that that the egg roll is actually cooked enough to sustain its form, and that's it. That's all, folks. That is all, folks. See, now what I could have did, and honestly what I should have did to this as well, was give me some of that vegan egg, and add that in there. That's what I should have did. Because I didn't add any tofu to it. I didn't add any, I didn't do any extra stuff to it. I just kept it simple. Just to show it. So now really what you want to do is cook this a little bit more. So that way it'll sustain its form, right? But I'm about to take it out in a few seconds just for the sake of time. All right. Just for the sake of time. All right, there you go. That's one. Okay. And yeah, these things really don't take too long to make. Like once you have everything that you need in place, this stuff is really just, grab and get started pretty much, almost a grab and go for the most part. So let me turn that down because this backside is cooking. That backside cooking. But yeah, whenever you run out of vegan meat, right? Because These vegan crumbles right here are like $5, right? You want to add tofu um, to it as well, and like stuff like the vegan egg, right? Because that stuff right there, the tofu don't have no flavor to it, but at the same time, it's another substance that you can actually add to bring a more nutritional value to your vegan meals, right? Even though it doesn't have a taste to it, it tastes like water, right? It tastes like water, but it brings substance to your meals, and you don't have to use up all your vegan crumbles or your other type of vegan meat substitutes, right? You can just add the tofu because it's really cheap, and it does the job. So, yep, and that'll do it. That is your second one. Let me do this too. Matter of fact, I have too late. It is what it is. I shouldn't have it. 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. All right. And voila, just like that, you have a little bit of a vegan fajita meal. I'll go ahead and taste test it for you guys, and then I'll end the live. I'll go ahead and just end the live right there. Here these drinks go right here, right? So, like I said, with this tomato sauce right here is something that you can. This tomato sauce right here is something that you can pretty much make. Um, you can pretty much just make this, and it goes on anything like any of your midday meals or anything like that. I mean, you got your tomato sauce just like that you can go ahead and make. But I'm gonna go ahead and conclude this. I'm gonna go ahead and clean some of these dishes real fast, and I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up in a second. I hope y'all learned something out of this, because the whole idea is to be, like we said, is to be more sustainable and becoming not a vegan, but eating more natural foods, right? It isn't necessarily about being a vegan. It's just about being more healthy and, taking more control of what we're putting in our body. Because when you can, control, have more, independence of like what you put in your body, you know, it's a really, really good freedom to have, because now you can start to get more innovative and think like, what are some things that I can put inside my body at what time, right? If I know the effects of certain ingredients, that I have at a certain time, and it's like, okay, so now I know I'm about to go do this at this moment. I know I'm about to go study. What foods can I make and put inside my body that will help me to be most effective studying, right? And then it's like, okay, so now I know I'm going to go chill with my friends and I'm about to eat. So what food can I now eat or make, that I can put inside my body that's going to, relax me enough to be presentable, around, whoever. And it's just like, that's the whole freedom of eating foods, man. It's almost like, how can I describe it? It's almost like a sort of like alchemy or something, or some sort of creativity, and it's just like, it's just it's like it's just the sort of creative power that you now have that you can really just reinforce yourself with, because now whatever I'm doing, I now can make the food that I want to or I need to make, in order to be, in order to bring out the best of myself in the function. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I think that's pretty cool. Um, I'm gonna conclude this live right here, but I am going to taste test this as well. Let me go ahead and do that for y'all. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Okay. So, so now let me show y'all. Okay. Um, let me show y'all this. Let me show y'all this real fast. All right. So now I want to show y'all this. Okay. So what you can do, right, with this, you see, this could become a breakfast meal too. So I'm gonna cut this in. I'm gonna cut this one in half. You know, just for the sake of the camera. Okay. I ended up cutting them both in half. It doesn't matter. All right. So I cut them both in half, and so now I want y'all to see something, right? So this right here can be just a normal meal, you know, and just be like a meal that you just come back from. That joint is so good, so good, right? Ain't nothing even in it, you know, ain't nothing even in it yet. But or what you could do is say you want to have this for breakfast, you know, and you've already made some type of meal prep. Um, you've already made some sort of meal prep or whatever, like with a tomato sauce, or maybe you cooked it last. I don't know, but you made some sort of you make this as a breakfast meal. Boom, you add the syrup in there, and pretty much, you know, now it becomes a breakfast meal, right? So this stuff is flexible. It can fit into any system that you go by, right? If you're a morning person or if you're an afternoon person, right? These systems right here are a little bit flexible. But other than that, I'm gonna conclude this. I'm gonna conclude this live right here. Um, I hope y'all doing good. I'm not gonna go into the other stuff on this live, but I hope y'all learn a lot of information on this. We're probably gonna keep doing these lives right here where we actually get into different foods. Um, but I probably plan on making another live soon. We're gonna be talking about the game. But other than that, I'm gonna conclude this live right here, man. We just want what I'm saying. We just want to be more sustainable. Uh, this when it comes to being healthy, or when it comes to trying to really become independent, right, and really start to separate yourself, and really get into your own life, and become more independent. You know, it all comes with some sort of struggle, right? It all comes with some sort of change that has to happen, you know. And I'm not trying to sound like a motivational speaker or anything, but I'm just being just being as real as possible. Like, you literally have to take the steps and literally have to take action and just say, you know what, I'm going to do this regardless of how it feels, regardless of anything else. I'm gonna just take that step and that action to just take control of my life. So uh yeah, I'm gonna conclude this live right here. Hopefully y'all could receive that. I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.